Dave, it seems from last night's comments that the EU is indeed gearing up its preparations for a no-deal Brexit.
Yeah, exactly. The key question now is what next after last night? And as far as Brussels is concerned, what's next is that we seem to be careening toward a no-deal Brexit, and thus preparations have kicked into high gear. Jean-Claude Juncker said at that press conference last night that he heard nothing from Theresa May that is deliverable, and therefore the Commission will present its detailed plans for a no-deal Brexit in just a week's time. At the same time, the 27 other countries in the EU are preparing their own national plans. For instance, the French Parliament already has a law going through the pipeline to make preparations for that no-deal scenario. Now, until now, everyone has been very reticent to talk about this publicly. They didn't want to make it look like they were preparing for this eventuality because, of course, this was considered the worst-case scenario, but it seems that if the EU can't deliver anything that could get Theresa May's deal through the British Parliament, then we're looking just at two scenarios, no-deal Brexit or a second referendum in the UK. That's the feeling here in Brussels. Now all eyes are on London to see if they have any other ideas.
So, Dave, what else is on the agenda today?
Yeah, well, this summit was supposed to deal with many other issues. Brexit was only added at the last minute after Theresa May canceled that vote on her deal on Tuesday. Now, sanctions were rolled over against Russia yesterday for a further 6 months. That's over its annexation of Crimea. That passed without incident because it was a fairly short text. It didn't really try to push the envelope at all because it wants to keep everyone on board. Today, the discussions will be all about budgets. First, the EU's 7-year budget, which will cover the period from 2020, and secondly, the new Eurozone budget. Now, this is an initiative of French President Emmanuel Macron, and it's designed to encourage fiscal discipline and reliability among the countries that use the euro. The key thing to watch today will be whether we're going to see fireworks between Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte and Macron. Macron was earlier this week forced to make monetary concessions to the yellow vest protesters in France. Those concessions come in the form of new spending. And Conte, who has been criticized by Macron for the 2019 budget that his governing coalition has drawn up, may want to bring up those monetary concessions that Macron made and say, look, if France can increase spending, why can't Italy? If he does choose to do this, it could touch a nerve among the other EU leaders. Ever since the EU started overseeing fiscal discipline after the debt crisis in the EU, there's been consistent complaints that France seems to get away with things that other countries can't when it comes to fiscal discipline. And so this could turn into a big row. We're told that the Council and Donald Tusk, Council President, really wants to avoid the discussion going into anything about the Italian budget or French spending. They just want to talk about the Eurozone budget. So we'll see. We'll see if Tusk can maintain that discipline during this afternoon's discussions.
Dave Keating reporting there from Brussels, which clearly is in for another busy day there.